we made it. Almost on time. Yeah, it's within the minute. It's good enough for me. Alrighty. First one I'm checking out is this Bluetooth unit. There's one we fixed a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, or it was a while ago. And everything worked except for the Bluetooth, which is kind of interesting because the Wi-Fi works. So usually if you are going to lose one, you lose the other as well because they're both handled by the same chip. But apparently not. Also, I just remembered I need to defuse this battery bomb, as it were. You're allowed to say that on YouTube, or they're going to be like an airliner and shut me down for saying such things. Anyway, it's just an old phone that needs to have that battery extracted. Get it done now before I forget. Hey, Defcom. Yeah. Alright, that is just not going to work. These all need to just come out and be spread all over my workbench. I have great ideas on how to organize these, but that requires a CNC machine, and while I have one of those, I have not actually made use of it yet, so that's a pretty awful investment on my side so far. Okay. So this is just an old iPhone 5. It's not even a 5S, it's just a 5. I've already had the data taken off it, and now it's just a case of defusing it. It's funny, you actually start to forget. What the hell, is this thing glued? I think someone might have... Yeah, I think someone's glued that down. Actually, the simplest way for me to do my tool holder is just simply to go out and get a wooden pencil, color pencil holder. Yeah, this has been glued in. Yeah, if I get a wooden pencil holder or something like that with the little grooves in it, that'll do the trick. Oh, bloody hell. I'm trying to spice up the spicy pillow. Great, just ripped open my glove. I'm gonna have to replace that. Yay, very spicy pillow. That said, in this state, it's probably not going to catch on fire. And they definitely did use super glue here. This white sort of residue that you can see. I don't know if it shows up in the camera. But that whiteness, that's from the vaporized parts of the super glue. It's interesting, it's like it's a third-party battery because it doesn't have a pull tab here. So to be safe, I'm going to heat it up from the back. Yeah, Defcom silicon's not so bad, I guess. Better than super glue. Oh, Miles, that was a good trick doing that on the airport trip. Hi, Catherine. Almost not. I'm not going to bother taking the screen out. There we go. Looks like someone did try to pull it out, but it had torn the tab off. It is a third-party battery. Anyway, so that's defused. That'll just go pretty much into the bin. We'll just cut these flexes. There's not a lot that I can really use off of iPhone 5 logic board. Not anymore. I need to replace my glove. And I'll stick that on the pile of all the other nearly dead batteries that I've got around here. It's kind of scary having these sitting around in here. So they all get pretty cozy with each other. But I do need to dispose of them. I'm actually not keen on the idea of putting them into the local supermarket's battery return box, because I suspect someone might drop something sharp over it. And while they won't usually catch on fire, it'd be just my luck that one of them does. Hey Paul Hal. Right, let's get that next glove. Unfortunately this is going to be difficult to put on because of the fact that I've already built up a little bit of sweat, so we'll just use a bit of alcohol. Hey Trady. And I didn't get on there quick enough, so now I have to wait. And a lot of the e-waste goes down to the local dump, and you can put it aside to a certain area. And they're fine with that. I've checked with them, they seem to be okay with it. Ah, god damn it, I've ruined that one too. I'll have to flip that one inside out. It actually concerns me how much of this sort of disposable gloves and paper and all that sort of stuff we use. It all adds up. I'm just worried that I'm not really doing my part to recycle enough. Okay, let's get on with the actual job. That didn't sound very good. Let's clean up the bench top first. Need some talcum powder for lubrication. Yeah, depends if that's real talc or whether they're going to have the corn flour talc. I see that nowadays, for the most part, talcum is corn flour as opposed to the actual mineral talc. Something about cancer risks, I suppose. Like everything. Yeah, horse, that's actually a good idea. I used to actually do that with the ones that we had for the model aircraft. So when we dispose of them, we do that. Just puncture them, let them discharge them completely, then puncture them, give them a while, and then just wrap them up in newspaper and dispose of them. That was the approved way of doing it. Alright, so no Bluetooth. Where's all the screws for this? This must have gone back without screws in the first place, because there's no way I would have left them out unless, due to the way that all my containers are done, there is no way for me to not put screws back. Okay. Just get that job code up. Dun, dun, dun. That's definitely not the right job code. Oh, that's the job code for when it originally came in, which was a no boot situation. And I'm just reusing the job code because it's the same machine. Hey Joho. Hey Ben. So no Bluetooth. It feels weird when all the things that your brain will normally try to undo through muscle memory aren't there. No tradie apparently or not. Alright, so Bluetooth and Wi-Fi handled by this sucker here. Now what it might be is there might be the power switch for Bluetooth is separate to the power switch to Wi-Fi, so that might be where the problem lies. Reminds me. Hey Maroto. Didn't get a chance to catch you producing that image file, the image file for your new tool. So I'm just building a new copy of Flexboard View. Where the hell's my... Come on, switch over. Thank you. And Muhammad's trying to be funny and falling flat. So first area I'm looking at is around here, just to see if there's any corrosion that might be stopping that from coming up. But it actually looks pretty good. I believe the original issue was over here. This has not been ultrasonic cleaned. There's got to be a reason for that. I remember that filter there. I remember it because it looks like it's not connected, but it actually is from memory. Where'd it go? Yeah, there it is, right there in the middle. It's connected. So what I would say we should do is look for, and I believe this is actually it up here. Look for the Bluetooth power switch area. I'm fairly sure it's this bit. Schematic. So what do we want? We've got an 840. Ugh, no, wrong color scheme. Color scheme means everything. Yeah, that'll do. Let's have a look. And indeed it does look like Bluetooth isolation. Okay, so it would seem that I'm going to have a look at that area again and see what I missed, which is probably everything. Alright, let's get rolling with it. Hey Q's. Yeah Q's, new picture. There are certain whiny bastards out there that won't stop whining. And they're just more of a nuisance than a help, so I just took away their whining. Now it's possible this area is actually okay, but the problem could be the enable signal might be not getting there. But we'll just have to see. We'll take it piece at a time. Not mentioning any whiny bastard Lewis's. Thank you, Andrew. I see both of them. Both of these are actually for the Bluetooth. I thought initially it was just the one and the other one was for Wi-Fi, but that's not the case. They both are required. Okie dokie. I might just replace them both. Jim, yep, we've had some pretty interesting storms up here. Not what we've been used to for the last decade or so, but they've certainly been quite exciting. Nothing like what the poor buggers down in Sydney and places like that cop, but for us it's more like what I would consider to be traditional monsoonal afternoon storms. Kind of like what I was used to when we used to go up camping to the tablelands up inland from Cairns, Atherton, and you'd just get there. You'd have enough time to set up camp, and then the storms would come running in, but it'd be over in about an hour or less, and then you'd have a quiet evening from there. So it's quite reminiscent of that, which is a little bit odd for me. I gotta sneeze, sorry folks. Oh no, come on, turn off the volume. I'm probably gonna have to sneeze again now. Yes, Jason, this is the Bluetooth. Okay, the thing that's kind of got me here is there's a little bit of weirdness there, but it's not too bad. So the area could have been okay, but it is possible that the enable or the signal that's used to tell this to do whatever it's got to do could be stuffed up. Yeah, we'll replace it, see how we go. Let's get ourselves another 1708. Sure, I've got a couple of them around. And then it's a case of finding one that actually has the parts we want. Yeah, that one looks like that's been... Oops, do not go into the rubbish bin. I mean, eventually you're going to go in there, but not today. Shard, Lewis has my old avatar because he's a whiny New Yorker. He hasn't quite let go of that aspect of his life, of his personality. So he's using tactics like that to try and make me do things. What, he's a crasher? Did he crash his Tesla? How the hell did he crash his Tesla? Please tell me he didn't crash his Tesla. Or do you mean just in a software programming sense? He had an accident yesterday? Ah, shit, not again. What happened? I didn't see it. Is that why the stream ended early? On ice. Oh, shite. That's not good. Well, I'm not sure. We'll wonder if insurance is going to pay that one out. Or whether they're going to say, no, no thanks. I mean, it's pretty unfortunate. All jokes aside, it's not the sort of thing you want to see happen. We've definitely got one Tesla in town, but there may be a second one as well. And I certainly want to be on that list soon. Don't have 60,000 bucks though. I gotta blow my nose, so please stand by. It's very annoying having this solar power and not being able to put it to use for charging the car. Mind you, the downside is that Teslas don't support, at least not yet here where we are, they don't support vehicle to network powering or vehicle to house powering, whereas things like the Nissan Leaf will do that, but not the Teslas, which is quite annoying. It's a good facility to have. Creature, you live in a posh part of the world. You live in a part of the world where everybody is just like, you just swim in money. Like you're all McScrooges. And you look down on us poor commoners over here, dreaming of having a Tesla. Even though it's a pretty standard car, really. I mean, when you think about it, 60,000 bucks, okay, it's whatever they are now. It's no small chunk of change, but then you see plenty of people running around in cars that have been configured out to 80, 90, 100,000, and no one seems to cry about that. But as soon as it's an electric car, they're like, oh my god. Hey Mark. I've still got a oil burner. I've got two of them, a diesel burner and a petrol burner. The sooner I can move on from them, the sooner I'll be happy. Like so, I get free power from the sun every day, but instead of giving it back to the power company at a stupidly low rate of only 9 cents a kilowatt hour, I would prefer to put it into a car. makes a lot more sense. Yeah, Jason, I noticed that one, but thanks. Okay, let's see this. How we go. How are you testing Bluetooth, Jason? I suppose we'll just see if it even shows up. Ah, finally. Hey, Patty Bunza. I think the battery cost thing is an overblown concern because realistically, on a lot of the real world examples, it seems like the degradation of the pack is just nowhere near as bad as what people are fearing. So you're looking at 300,000 kilometers plus sort of thing. Ha! Well, that Jason just did this for me, I see. I don't know if you can read that. So, okay, Rossman, make your own software. Yes, I should give him that. Won't be able to quite make it to the S, unfortunately, Jason. It's going to have to be. There is that goddamn flicker on the screen, though. That's from liquid damage, probably. Hey there, Tom George. Settling in, talks to you. Cool. Alright, so let's have a look at. Obviously, this is difficult for you to see. We're going to go into. Actually, system settings is not really the right place. First thing I want to do is see if we can actually see a Bluetooth controller. No, about this Mac. Okay. Damn it. What is going on here? Okay, more info. What? Oh, Bluetooth. No Bluetooth devices. Flippin' heck. Hey, Michael Tritz. Nissan wanted 30k for yeah, for original Leaf. I mean, that's you'd expect that from original, but I've seen they've been doing Leaf replacement batteries for well under about 5,000 or something like that. Okay, hang on, wait. No, this is fine. I'm just gonna go get my headphones and see if they show up on this. Milo, what are you doing? Well, you gotta leave the frog alone. I know it's fun to play with it, but you can actually have it. It's paint. Down for that's the micro alarm. Stop that for a second. Alright, let's see. Oh, I've probably got to connect the damn antennas. to play with risk here. Right. Probably should actually have that screwed into ground as well, by the way. See, Jim, sorry about your headache, mate. No, that's definitely not going to work. Though maybe that size might fit. It's not. You're a Phillips head, so you're definitely not. What about you? No, that's a negatory, and they have both just come off. I'm just going to stop everybody having extreme anxiety, and I'll disconnect that. Go find my 1708 case. Actually, I don't think I have. Crap. Try 1707. Nope, none of those screws are going to match. I genuinely actually thought I did have a 1707. Sorry, 1708 container, but I can't seem to find it. Accused, you're talking about the USB thing? The USB-C? Yeah, I've actually got to make a few of them. Hand them out. That's a negatory. That's not fitting either. Why are you so difficult? It's because it's one of those ultra fine screws. The ones that they have the standoff studs from the keyboard. Anyway, let's try to plug those back in again. Kind of weird that they just popped off though. Okay, it's back in. Hey there, Harold. And I'll just test this and then I better race off and give Micro his insulin injection. Now, Pro, I can already do the selling through my existing systems. I actually used to have a model aircraft parts store, so I can just sort of reactivate a small portion of that. Or I can just simply leave it as a single purchase type thing with a PayPal link. It means people can't stack up things into their, into their cart, but it's, we'll work around that. Shady, that sounds a little bit disturbing. Jason, the flickering on this screen is triggering me. Okay, so the headphones are definitely... Okay, we do have a Bluetooth symbol up here, yes. Let's see if we can actually find any. Okay, it has found my headphones. So, okay, let's connect to them. I'm just going to make sure I actually can hear through them. Hey, Patrick, thanks for the 3. More coffee for me. Okay, that is connected. Let's see, I'll put these on. probably not going to work. Oh, it did. Yep, it's working. Well, Jason, looks like that one's fixed. Thank goodness for that. I don't know what was wrong. Maybe it was just both of the maybe both of the bridge adapters were busted or something. I don't know. I only replaced the one. All I know is it works now. And that's what I like to have. Let's put that aside so that I can then reassemble that later. Alright, let's see. I suppose I should do that 16-incher. But I'll cover up the customer details. Okay, customer details on one side covered, and right, that one doesn't need to be done anymore. We need another container for that. Hey, Sutter, Mr. Miser. So this one is a 2141, 2142. Can't remember. I always get confused with this 2141, 2142. Anyway, it has died and been an A1708 board. It's probably not going to come back to life, but we'll see. We'll see. We have had success in the past, so you know it's worth trying. Get that battery disconnected. Oh shit, micro, yeah. Thanks for that. Who reminded me? Oh yeah, Jason. Right. I'm just going to take my headset off. Sorry about that. Dealing with micro was only a small portion of that time delay. The other portion was me dealing with my own personal complete and utter stuff up, just like I did then. Fuck. I have to go replace that. Okay, yeah, I've just spent the last couple of days trying to organise a code signing certificate for my software, and I finally got the code signing certificate, and I stuffed it up. I inadvertently cut paste the wrong section and dumped my private key in the wrong place. And because of that, the certificate was immediately revoked. And so now that certificate is useless. And so I have to see if they can reissue it or whether that's just money down the drain. What am I doing in April? I'll probably be doing very much the same things I'm doing right now, which is looking after the fur kids, complaining about things that are my own fault, and wishing for a new colorbond fence or a lovely new roof so that the rain doesn't come into the house. Things like that. Oh gee, usually in cats, diabetes presents itself as your cat drinking a fair bit of water, losing weight, but they don't have worms, wanting to eat, having an appetite, but only really being able to eat, small amounts. They'll generally be fairly listless, but they will have moments of being lucid and jumping around like crazy. But overall, they just don't have the life in them that they used to. Now those symptoms they're very generic sort of symptoms. So the only way that the vets usually can tell with a little more certainty is to get a blood test and also a urine test. So they'll usually with both of those they can pick it down, narrow it down to diabetes. DEFCON, is that just for like a HTTPS cert? Can't you use Let's Encrypt or something like that, and then you don't have to pay for them? And it's all done nice and easy and simple. That's what I've done now. I just switched over to using Let's Encrypt, and it covers all my sites. It's actually quite a marvelous thing that they did to make that free and easy to use, and significantly improve the uptake of people. That magnet is a real problem. Significantly improved the uptake of SSL sites. Yeah, with HTTPS, if you look up Let's Encrypt, it's free, it's very, very easy to use, it does all the work for you, and it's basically puts an end to a lot of the pain in the backside stuff that you used to have to do. Okay, we've got liquid damage, by the way. See that? That's liquid damage in here. Haven't heard about it. Okay, yeah. Let me bring up the website for you. You'll be crying after you see this, believe me. It's like going from CGI bin websites to PHP. And just having that amazing transition in life. Okay, let's go to schematics. Okay. Yeah, so this is it. Let's Encrypt, and it's really, really simple. If you've got an Apache website server or something like that, dead easy. So like if you've got shell access or whatever, and it's not a complicated process, there's not a lot of fiddling and farting. You just run the one program and that's about it. But yeah, so have a look at it. There'll be a binary program or whatever set up by downloads or something. I can't remember where it is, but it's a very easy thing to use. And yeah, you basically will never have to do a commercial, not unless you've got a pretty good reason. Yeah, some people do, but for the most part, Let's Encrypt covers most people. Video is blurry. That will probably be the provider. Can't blame me on that one. I'm not showing any issues. I'm streaming out at 10 megabit, so it's all good on this end. Yeah, no worries, Def. Like I said, it used to be a major pain in the backside, like what you're experiencing, to have to deal with constantly paying and renewing and all that sort of stuff. With Let's Encrypt, if I'm assuming you've got, say, like a Linux Apache web server, a LAMP setup or whatever, and it just goes into your periodic. Okay, I can see the liquid damage down here actually. Yeah, it goes into your periodic setup cron system, and you just basically forget about it. And that's the end of it. It's marvelous. And yeah, through their actions, they've greatly increased the number of people who now have SSL supported HTTPS sites. The joy of the 1700 board. 8200 1700. To be fair, you actually look fondly back on this board when you move up to the new boards with the Mac Pros, M1s, M2s, the Pro board. They are just yet another level of annoying beyond. It's like Apple just strives to become a little more annoying every year. They're doing a good job. Yeah, I used to think these were the absolute worst. In fact, they were the absolute worst, but now that crown has been handed to the newer model. It's as bad as trying to get the oil filter out of modern cars. Alright, well, this is probably more of an input stage thing because it's not going to be, by the looks of it, an SSD problem. It damn well nearly came close though, by the looks of it. Let's have a look under the microscope. Oh, Miles, yeah, you always got to use the hot air to get those Touch ID buttons worked out. So we've got a real smattering of trash everywhere. Oh, it did make it to the... Oh, man. And the corrosion around that cap means it's been chewing at it. Yeah, I've been chewing at my NAND output. God damn it. Where are you? Well, 6700 is not too bad. So that gives us some hope. If we're lucky, it's just simply fried the regulator and the regulator died gracefully, as opposed to going out in a blaze of glory. There's also problems up here and here. Yeah, this one actually could be a nuisance. Okay, that's our lid sensor, but you know, we can deal with that sort of thing. Input protection caps and diodes look a little bit messed up, but not too bad. 3217, ugh, both of them. God damn it. So I think we'll have to work backwards on this one. First thing we're going to do is replace that regulator, so that when we start testing with the USB-C connection power, we don't stand to accidentally destroy a good set of NANDs and all the data associated. I'm just checking the rest of the board, see if there are any other signs of, or noticeable signs of liquid damage. But it looks like it's limited to that one particular side and area. So it looks like it's a bit of a splashy splash one. Yeah. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is fix up that regulator, and at least that protects the NANDs if they're not already destroyed. Which they so easily can be on these models. Dot, bottom right. Okay, Jason, well, I'll let you know how this one goes. This one doesn't feel like Coke. This feels just like cruddy water or something. Normally I don't use quite that much flux, and I've got to be careful because I'm right next to this NAND, so in fact I probably will cover it. I don't want to go cooking the damn NAND and needing to have to take it off and re-ball it. That's a major don't want to do it thing. I'll also take that cap as a precaution. Hey TW. Tradie, most of the time it's all just, you look at the board, you can see the crud everywhere and you're like, right, that needs some replacement. And for the most part, yeah, it's not a big issue, but there are certainly some times where you do want to get your repair sequence in the correct order. Because if you say just went along, like what will often happen is someone will go, oh yeah, that doesn't look too bad, I'll just wash all that crud off and see if it works, or they'll power it up before they even have a look at what's causing any issues. Yeah, when they do things out of sequence like that, that's when we end up situations where we lose the data because they went along and did things that let things get destroyed. Where the pain is, unfortunately, however, is that it's only perhaps maybe 1 in 10 or maybe 1 in 5 times that it happens like that. The rest of the time you get away with it, so it makes you become makes people become a little bit complacent, and they're sort of like, I've done that plenty of times, it's never caused any trouble. Hey Keith McDermott. Yeah, maybe they spilt the bong on it. I know, it's funny, but funnily enough, it actually does happen. Let's put that heat shield, as it were, back on there. Now I'm out of focus because it pushed the board down. Okay, that's down. Now we need a replacement cap up there. So this is a A1708. What are we looking at? It's that cap there. 10 microfarad, 25 volts. It's a 603 package. Okay, what was that? 10 microfarad, 25 volts, 603. 603 caps. And very first one in the box is exactly what we're after. Yep, there we go. Dropped our little nugget. I might be a little bit paranoid here with the heat shield system there, because realistically it takes an impressive amount of energy to be pumped into the board before those nans are ready to start squeezing out. But I guess you just sort of don't want to be the unlucky bastard that accidentally puts that little bit too much in there and makes them pop out. Especially with these ones, because you've got so many, and it's quite tricky to get these off in a clean way. Not impossible, but it does take practice, and it's a little bit frustrating. And when you're under the pressure of realizing you've stuffed up, well, that can make all the difference. So, a lot of this, okay, this bit here looks a bit gnarly, and so I think it's sort of burned away a little bit under that corner. A lot of this stuff here, that could probably be just disposed of using 80/20 and the electric toothbrush. That there's a little bit, it's not too bad. This here I think should be replaced. But yeah, so I'd say this chip and this chip. Probably that one there. Funny that one says CPU. Not sure about these diodes. I'll give them a wash. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's actually a bit of a chunking MOSFET, that one. I'm going to try really hard not to have these suckers pop. There we go. Yeah, I just realised there's frickin' nans on the other side. That was a little bit of a risk then. In fact, I'll just check on that. Schematics. So if we look at the part that we just removed, which is this, okay, we're a long way from the nans. So the nans are there, and that MOSFET that I replaced is just there on the other side of the board, so we're safe. Ha, tree. Plenty of people do. I gotta say, I am actually quite happy with the new adjustments I made in the software. I'll show them later, but I've solved a long-standing usability issue that's been annoying me as a user. Like when I would go through the various power sequences and things like that, there was always a couple of attributes that annoyed me, but I never quite got around to solving it. But I finally did, and I'll show that off later. Okay, I just noticed we've got some blood, or board blood, around a resistor here. I don't know if you can see that, just there. In fact, I might reheat those when I'm putting the MOSFET back on and give them a tap and see if they misbehave. But yeah, there's a bit of board blood there and I don't like that. Okay, so we've got to find ourselves another one of those MOSFETs. I do not believe I have another 1700 board, so we're going to have to use the part find tool. It's always hard to see the colors when you're zoomed in that far too. Oops. What the f... Okay, so we want this part. It looks like it's fairly common, thank goodness. The 1041s have it. I've got a few of those around, I think. Maybe I don't. What else has got it? 850s. 239s. Those I definitely have. What the hell? FDPC 1012. Okay, looks like that's it there. Just going to verify that by having a look at the old chip. Unfortunately, completely different manufacturers. So this is made by Onsemi, but they both have the O10D and O30D marking on it, so we'll consider that to be good. Set up on. Tradie Trev, it just searches all the schematics I have on my system. But it's just simply looking for that word, the part name. So if you had, say, even other brand boards, schematics, if the part's on those and it's on there, it will find them in there too. So basically it's just doing a full PDF search. There's a few other parameters you can program in there, like you can tell it to make sure it includes other words or something like that. Alright. Needless to say, it's certainly useful. It's one of those features that I didn't realize were going to become such a useful feature. It was just sort of done on whim because I thought, I need to try and find some parts, and it just worked out that way. Alrighty. I better see what this is. So, and Schmidt gate. So the inputs have got Schmidt triggers on them, and it's just an AND gate. Hey there, Max. Oh, Murdo, 400 megabyte, that's tiny. You could have just made it a 1 gigabyte stick image or something. Hey, Solaris. The 74 series is probably going to be everywhere, but it's... Okay, stop. Alright, so we found again. 239 has it. What the hell? I think I've got a bug in my software. Yep, I got a bug in my software. Crap. This is why it's not a public release yet, because I'm still working on some things. So what are we after? 74 AUP. That's weird. That's very weird. It's... okay, sort of not weird, but yes, weird. I don't like what I'm looking at. The reason why I don't like what I'm looking at is because this here is an OR input Schmidt, but it has one of the inputs inverted and the wiring is different. So like, yeah. Queues with no C... No, I don't think I ever did get that working. Yeah, so I don't know what to think about this. The parts are the same, but the way they've drawn them in is very different. And like I said, the wiring's different. Okay, so pin 2, but this pin 1 could just be some sort of a control pin. So one way we can find out is to search for it and get a data sheet. And the data sheet will actually help us decide whether we're about to create a silly mistake or not. Hey Pedro. Come on, data sheet, where are you? Do not like this company for their what the... Alright, so it is actually a complicated setup. It is not a simple... So there's your Schmidt inputs. Pin 1 here is... Well, they're Schmidt buffers. So the reason why we have these buffers is so that if you have a slightly noisy signal, it cleans it up, makes it a lot squarer so that everything doesn't jump around so much. So that is why on the MacBook schematics they're showing it differently, because they've configured it differently to produce a certain type of behavior. So that's what that is. So long story short, we can go ahead with what we were planning on doing and swapping that part. Oh, cues, right, that's the... right. Yeah, I remember you going on about it. Yeah, we've got to find it on here. See, it's under crap on a cracker. Big fat cat. Where at you? There it is there. That's what we're after. Pin 1's bottom right. I just did a bit of a boo-boo. I removed the part before I was ready to put the part down. Okay, so we're just going to nestle it down here. And pin 1 on this one also looks to be bottom right. So at least we've got that consistency. It's all ready to go. Basically, the cleanup concept here I have is clean up as much as I can before I do the first power up, just to try and make it that I have the least chance of things not working. I know that sometimes some people, they'll just plow through bit by bit, but they'll fix one thing, power it up, fix one thing, power it up. But with data jobs like this, it is a little bit risky to do that. It has the upside of potentially shortening the time you spend fixing something. The downside is it will absolutely render the job dead. I just want to fluff them up a little bit. little more flux. Let's grab our part that is still in the correct orientation. Now, the fun part. Hope that we don't let go of it too soon and it flies away. I just want to toothbrush this section a bit. Okay, that MOSFET's not sitting down properly, so we'll have to shift that back a bit. You can see that, or I can see that the legs, it's slightly to the left of where it should be. Now if we give it a decent amount of flux and enough heat, it ideally will pull itself back into location. We're going to have to see about that. Cues, sometimes if your fingers just aren't really in the mood and not keeping track of what you need, it can be frustrating how easily you can just let them slip. Yeah, it's just that tiny bit of not enough pressure on the tweezers and whoop, there it goes. I mean, it's not a major problem with some parts, like little 0 ohm resistors or something, but gee, when it's some critical chip or part that you don't have any other reserves of, then yeah, you cry about it. Yeah, Creature, I noticed the squeezage as well. Okay, so this here, that chip there is a pretty standard switch. I just gotta find another one. Crap. So, it's a typical sort of power switch. Oops. I'm just running it in another window. So it looks like the 1700. Always a concern when you're only seeing 2 files come up. Hey there, Jim Allen. Ooh, 1598. Well, I might have one of those. Pretty sure I've got a 1598. I think we spoke about it the other day. Yep, I have. I got a 1598. Thank goodness for that. And 1949, 1958. Okay, we're going to use the 1598. Where are you? You're right there, I reckon. I'm just double checking everything. Yep, that'll be it. Now, of course, I just realised I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite to what I was saying before, because I'm actually going to try and power up without replacing the CD3217s. Now, the reason why I'm going to do that is because 3217s are not exactly in great big supply, and it's unlikely that the 3217, if I've got problems, I'm not going to get 20 volts through the system, so things aren't going to start up, so I'm not going to end up with a data risk. Hello there, Nabil. Welcome. Alright, so we're going to get this one back. Just going to give it a bit more of a coating there. Because I'm worried about busting those caps. I hate it how they have this really bad habit of making pop noises. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now I've got to wonder about this CPU one. Okay, so this here is a current sensor. It's an A1708. Fairly sure we've got a bunch of those. Hopefully I don't regret those words. Yep. Looks like there's some damage under there. Something happened. Yeah, that's some board blood. Oh, Tradie, I really hope so. Really hope so. Okay, it looks like that blood might have been coming from the part, so good thing we replaced it. Because it looks pretty clean there. Good point, Miles. Shouldn't wake up Murphy. Then again, these days it feels like Murphy's always awake for me. Okay, A2142. Now the trouble with current sense chips is that while a lot of the schematics will actually list them, the number of boards that have them installed is very minimal. So like there, it's a no stuff. So they design them in, but then eventually they decide, you know what, we don't need to current sense that, so we're just going to leave that out. They'll merge the two sides of the current sense resistor. So this here is a current sense resistor pad set. So you have the actual main pads where the actual power flows through, and then you have your Kelvin pair sense leads here, which go off into the current sensor. But yeah, so they decide, you know what, we don't really care about the current sensor for that position, so we're just going to join these two sides together and leave that unpopulated. And that unfortunately is very common among a lot of Macbooks, or a lot of designs. So again, that one's not there. We'll try the next one. 5'10", not there. Not there. That one's not there. Jeez. Yep. God damn, you see the pads everywhere, but not seeing any of the chips. Okay, we're back to zero there, so that board does not have any. Yeah, creature, there's actually been a few times where I have actually had to cut those traces out. Mostly because I needed to isolate an area so that I could do data recovery. And so yeah, you just have to gouge it out. Shite. Well, Ainsley, you can ask. I don't know if anyone will be able to answer, but you can always ask. I wonder if I've even got any of those in stock as individual units. I do keep a few of the INA units, but not typically that one. At least not from memory, anyway. I think it was the INA 219. Oh wait, no, that's my other current sensor. Just seeing if maybe I got lucky and bought a couple. Because I know at one point I was after some. No. Although I'm not sure why I wouldn't have put them into the individual packaging, but anyway. Definitely not in that container. I'll keep digging around for other boards and see if I can find one. How annoying. So we've got 928, 850. Okay, the 928 might actually have it because it's a hefty board, so you do want to make sure it's going to be fine. Come on, mouse. I swear I'm going to have to go back to a corded mouse at this rate. I can see even without the microscope that's not there. No. God damn it, no. Nope. Nope. Oh, do we know? Wishful thinking, Mr. Daniels, and no, it was not. Damn it. Well, it's like, let's use this part everywhere and not use it. No. Flippin' heck. It's kind of scary how many of these current sensors they originally planned they were going to have, but where are you? Yeah, that's it. No. Not on the 928. Jeez. See what else we got. Not that one. I don't know if I got 1814s or anything. Let me have a look. I've got an 850. Huh. Let's try the 850. B-Blood, no, it doesn't even seem to be that. That's the crazy thing. Here we go again. Once again, none of them are in there. No. It's going to get to the point where I can just sniff this chip out. Oh, we've actually got one, I think. We've got one. Pretty sure that's it. I don't want to get false hope, but it looks like it. Yep. Yep, that's it. Okay, pin 1 is on the bottom of this. Okay, I can see pin 1 there. Yep. Well, I guess it would have been a design choice between realistic failure situations versus cost. And there's also the factor that many times you can end up over-engineering the bastards and creating more problems for yourself than what you had originally. Because obviously with every sensor, that's another point of misinformation potentially. I'm not sure where the sense resistor on this one is, Creature. It could be on the other side because it goes through those two pads there. We'll have a look at the board view and schematic and that will tell us where it is. So it's R5600 that it is talking to. And yeah, it looks like it's on the other side of the board because there's your sensor, there's your chip, and there's your resistor. Alrighty, I think we're at the point where we can now... I'll scrub that because that's sitting under the Thunderbolt chip. So we'll scrub that a bit and then we will just flux and boil it as well to add a little bit of extra protection. As you can see, that sort of corrosion on the board, it just sort of vanishes with a bit of washing. But I'm also dropping down a bit of flux, giving it a little bit of a boil, just to provide that bit of extra clean up. Now we don't want the flux to sit there for too long because if you the flux in itself can also ultimately become a bit conductive or troublesome. But it's boiling it off. See the bubbles picking up, that's good. And you can't see anything because I'm in the goddamn schematic mode. I don't suppose anyone can go back and see if the word CPU are upside down on that. Because pin 1's up here. And I mean, I believe the schematic, but at the same time I also don't believe the schematic. While I am doing those, I'm bringing up the data sheet to have a look. So if we look here, our sense lines are, what have we got? 3 and 4 for NMP. Schematic. So 3 and 4 NMP. Oh, I love when they do this. What? That's... It was upside down? Okay, cool. So yeah, okay, 3-4 in plus. That's just me triple checking. I appreciate everybody having a look for me. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's E-Lita. E-L-I-T-A. Forget about these gnarly looking things up here. Flux is a perfectly unacceptable substitute for toothpaste. If you use Flux as toothpaste, you will most definitely have excellent teeth to the day you die. The downside is that the day you die is probably the day after you have Flux for your toothpaste. And as a bonus, you'll feature on Chubby Emu. So if you ever want to have indirect fame, do something like that, get featured on Chubby Emu. Oh yeah, we've also got this crap. There's always no end of crap. For those of you who don't know who Chubby Emu is, if you don't mind really interesting medical situations, poisonings and that sort of stuff, Chubby Emu is a good channel to watch. He's got a few million followers, so of course, whenever a leader and I now are eating something, or we feel like we got stabbed by something or anything like that, whenever we have those moments, we're like, oh god, we're going to be on Chubby Emu. It's like it's one of those dualities of being thrilled and terrified at the same time at the prospect. Alrighty, time to see if anything happens. So just double check on the orientation of this V-Reg, because of all the things to get wrong, you do not want to get this V-Reg orientation wrong. So we've got pin 1 down to this corner. I deliberately marked that, and I'm just going to triple check that. And indeed, pin 1 is down there, so that's good. Hey, Costas. Alright, let's see. What's the time? We're almost at midnight, so this will definitely be the last prospect for the evening. Okay, so if you watch the USB-C meter above, hopefully we get something that's 5 volts, 20 volts. Anything catching on fire? Nothing like it yet. 125, 200. Come on, give me. Yeah, okay. It looks 3, 5. Didn't like that. No, that's rebooting. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. What we saw there, so it looks like the NAND's got destroyed probably. What we saw there is that it tries to power up and it begins its post-process, but then it can't find the NANDs, or it can't find the SSD, so let's have a look at that. I've got my probes on the wrong way. So it's certainly not shorted there. Yeah. So that low 70 ohms, it's no good, they're dead. So unfortunately we didn't get to it in time. That's really sad. But yeah, 70 odd ohms is indicative of a failed NAND, because it should be around about 600. Bugger. That's a lot of work. Oh fuck, did I forget that? Did I really forget that? I mean no, that one's fine. That's PP bus. No, creature, I already know what it's going to be. The way it did that. So we got our 20 volts, so yeah, there's a bit of corrosion down here, but it wasn't affecting the actual functionality. But unfortunately, because of the corrosion we had around here, it's caused high voltage to go through onto the NANDs and kill them, unfortunately. I mean, I'll try and boot it, but it's not looking right. It does suck. I mean, you think about the amount of work that we just put in and the parts. Yeah, it's a bit of a downer for the end of the evening. Okay. Let's do our tape trick. Yeah, as soon as you see it doing the whole 2-300 then drop type business, it's a sign that the CPU is alive, everything else is alive, but it's not finding its drive. So Pedro, this is what I mean about using tape. I'd say, yeah, unfortunately, particularly the fact that we didn't actually have to do anything with that 20 volt, the USB-C input stage. It means it was probably just all the corrosion damage was happening around the NANDs and yeah, damn it. I really thought I had a chance too. Much sadness. Wah. At the same time, even though you have these sadly a little too frequently with this particular model and the A1990, even though you have these events, you still need to, as much as possible, be pedantic about doing it in the right sequence. Okay. Didn't work out this time, but for all you know, the next time it may save that person's data. I mean, I could be wrong, but it, like I said, 65, 70 ohms is fairly symptomatic. What I will say as a problem is I should have measured it before I turned it on. But I was, yeah. Like after I put all the parts on, I should have done the measurement then. So that was an oversight on my behalf. Got to try not to do things like that. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you work a little bit too long without a break. Okay, let's see what's going to go on here. I'm going to have to go to the other side. Yeah, Q's, the discoloration was a pretty bad thing. I was kind of hoping it was just going to be from evaporation of whatever the liquid was that came in contact with it. But yeah, the discoloration sort of tells you, I have been cooked. Okay, it looks like we're charging the battery, that's why the current's going up there. You might get lucky, but 65, holy shit. I don't know if you can see that, but I got a battery logo. Is this alive? Is this alive? I doubt it. Even if you don't have an iCloud account to do backups, just buying something like Carbon Copy Cloner. Carbon Copy Cloner makes it very easy to keep a backup of all your data. It really does. I mean, sure, it costs like, what, $30? I'm kind of, it's got me on the edge of my seat here. I'm kind of hoping that it actually will boot. Especially that it hasn't reset the charge current. But then again, it could be just a case of it displays that logo and it's separate, or it can do that even if it has no solid state drive, because that would just be a function within the electronics, I imagine, the firmware, as opposed to on the SSD. I didn't mind the 1706 and the 1707. At least they did. I mean, the soldered on data was not great, but at least they didn't have T2 and they did have the lifeboat connector. So it was a bad compromise, but at least it was a compromise. So I'm using a 1706 now myself. Hey, we've got a fan spin. Please bong. Bong. You're probably not going to bong because I haven't got the speakers plugged in. Ah, still battery logo. This has got us on the edge of our seat. I don't know if this is going to self-boot when the charge gets up to where it wants to, or what. So we've got to wait. Yeah, I saw the iBoth thing. The only trouble is, of course, it's only going to work for that series because you don't have the T2 there encrypting everything. So yeah, very much is the last of the potentially workable MacBooks before we get to this T2 nonsense. a bong would suggest it all is good with the SSD, yes, because as far as I know anyway, although as far as I know these don't bong necessarily anymore. Tell us of the latest kitten related things. Not a lot's been happening. I've been getting prices. I'm waiting on quotes for the color bonding of the enclosure. It's 110 meters, linear meters of color bond fencing, which means it's going to be expensive. Now, I don't actually yet have a gauge on what to expect, so I don't know whether I should be looking at 150 a linear meter or 300 a linear meter. Hopefully it's at the 150. If it's 150 a linear meter, I can stretch and get the color bonding done. If it's 300, it's over. I can't do that. I'll have to come up with some alternative fencing arrangement. I currently already have the copper log fence system with the 6-foot mesh and the folded in lip. But the problem with that, of course, is, the mesh is 75 by 50 square. So it's very easy for basically any snakes, anything to get through. The way I can solve that is to wrap shade cloth around the outside. So shade cloth's maybe like $10 a meter. And that will have two advantages. One, it will be casting shade, so that'll be nice. And also because it's such a fine mesh, nothing's going to get through that. The downside is I will have to bury it and then put rocks or something and then backfill over the top. What else? We also then have the problem where we need to still stop outside animals jumping in, so I'll have to do another lip on the outside. Color bond is just coated steel fence. So it's steel fencing, kind of like roof sheeting. That's all it is, yeah. So what's going on here? Why isn't this fired up yet? 3 amps. It's got to be firing up by now. Nope, keeps coming up. The damn battery logo. I'm not sure what to think about that battery logo. I genuinely would have thought it would boot without. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. I mean, it's putting the power somewhere. 4 amps. It's doing something with it. No, backlight's working. Everything's working. It's just that it's a bright room, so it's a little hard to see anything. What I might do is actually reconnect all the thingamajigs. But yeah, 4 amps. That's doing something with that power. And it's not cooking up the board. 4 amps, 80 watts. You can't put that into a board without something getting very hot. And since the board's not getting very hot, we're going to assume it's putting it in the battery. It's behaving like it is anyway. But yeah, I'm not sure why it's not actually doing a boot. So I'm going to connect everything up that I can, so it doesn't have an excuse to not start. Obviously we're not going to worry about the Wi-Fi. So that includes speakers, we won't worry about that, I don't think, but I do need to clean the connectors for the touch bar, that's it. If the BMS cable was problematic, it wouldn't be charging. The lid switch is a problem here, but again, it shouldn't inhibit it. Like a lid switch should, it's a open by default sort of thing. Unless they change the logic, but I'm pretty sure it's open by default still. So if it's not connected, it's assuming that, or if it's not getting a signal, it assumes that the lid is open. Okay, good. Oof. Holy shit, we got a bomb. We got an Apple logo. Sweet mercy. Alright. Okay, I don't know why we only got 65 aims on that NAND. Yeah, that's making progress. Jesus, really sucking the power. There we go. We have a booted machine. Yeah. Crap. Alright. My diagnosis was wrong there. I'm not sure why it behaved that way. Like I said, 65 aims, current looping. That's almost always... I'm sorry, Dave, but the NANDs are dead. But I was wrong. I was wrong. And I'm happy I was wrong this time. Well, I wonder if Jason's still around. I better message him. He's probably gone to sleep crying. Trying to wonder how to tell his customer that everything is dead. I better tell him that. I don't know about dirty connectors because that shouldn't affect the NAND resistance. Let's see, Jason. The 16-inch is working, full stop. Just booted, full stop. Oh, Jason tried messaging. I can't voice call Jason, gee. Anyway, doesn't matter. He'll get the message. Alright, definitely this is going to get backed up before it gets sent back, assuming the customer gives us the password. Sometimes the customers don't want to give you the password. I understand, respect that. They're happy to take the risk that by the time it gets to them, it's still going to work. Doesn't always work out that way, but that's their choice. We're all adults, most of us. I'm not really. I'm like a 25-year-old living in a 50-year-old's body. Yeah, he was in chat, but oh, there he is. Yeah. Sorry, Jason, didn't see you. I don't know if you did give me the password, but I'll check I don't think you did. But we can, if you do have access to the password, well, you know. By the way, when I say the customer, I'm not talking about Jason. He may have sent this, but he's not the customer. All right, I am out of here. You all take care. We got lucky. Looked like it was going to be a bad night. Turned into a good night. And I'll see you next time. Catch you later.